This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. We're looking at Major League Baseball Division Series preview for the games taking place on Thursday, October the 6th. The Division Series have arrived. Both American League DS Series getting underway Thursday. We're going to break both of them down right now. Let's start with the first game on Thursday. The Toronto Blue Jays live to fight another day, and they will face the Texas Rangers in the ALDS. Game 1 Thursday, 4:30 Eastern Time. We have the starting pitchers, Marco Estrada for Toronto, Cole Hamels for Texas. As I've mentioned a lot earlier this season when I was doing my daily overnight early lines videos here on Sportsbook Review, I talked about how much I liked Cole Hamels, and I still do. He is definitely going to have to pitch well, deliver the goods for this Texas Rangers rotation that, let's be honest, it's a little bit depleted because of some of the injuries that they've suffered. But the good news is they're starting to get some of their guys back. You know, Cole Hamels is going to pitch Game 1, Yu Darvish Game 2, Colby Lewis Game 3. They're undecided where they're going to go for Game 4, but obviously Hamels is the right choice to get this series going for the Texas Rangers, and obviously a guy that's had a very, very solid season from start to finish. The one issue, though, that I would have with Hamels, even though his overall numbers very good, 3.32 ERA, his home ERA does spike a little bit. Here in Arlington, he has a 4.40 ERA and 15 home starts. And down the stretch of the season, it wasn't like Hamels pitched his best from the late August to the end of the season. In fact, 4 times in his last 6 starts, we saw Hamels give up 5 runs or more, and it's definitely a concern. It looked like he was keeping his pitches elevated, was getting hit around a little bit, and when you look at some of these outings that he's had, where he's given up, 7 hits, 7 hits, 7 hits, 6 hits, 8 hits, in all of those outings in which he gave up 5 runs or more down the stretch of the season. So he did have some concerns down the stretch, not pitching at his best, but he is a veteran. He is a playoff performer. He knows what it takes to get the job done in this scenario. We'll see what he can do here for the Texas Rangers. He faced the Blue Jays, of course, twice last year in the American League Division Series. Of course, this is a rematch of last year's epic series with the bat flip. We all know about that. We know that earlier this year during the regular season, these two teams went at it in terms of fisticuffs. Rougned Odor's punch on Jose Bautista. That's been replayed over and over again. Bad blood. These two teams don't like each other. Should be an intense series. Cole Hamels, though, last year against the Blue Jays in the playoffs, not great were his numbers. He gave up 5 runs on 4 hits in 6.1 innings, 4 runs on 6 hits in 7 innings in those 2 starts, although in both of those outings, 2 earned runs only in each of those. So some bad defense behind him. We'll see if Texas can clean up that. The one thing that I'd be concerned about, I have no interest in betting against Hamels here in this spot with Texas, minus 140 to minus 145, but I'm not rushing to back Texas here either. We've seen this a lot with these teams like Toronto that win the wild card game, win it in epic fashion like they did with Edwin Encarnacion's 3-run home run and the mind-boggling decision by Buck Showalter not to have his best pitcher on his team, Zach Britton, the closer, not pitch at all during that game. Just a completely idiotic move by him, and one that cost Baltimore their season. You worry if that win galvanizes the Blue Jays because, again, it's a team that, endured the pain of losing last year in the ALCS against Kansas City. Do the lessons learned last year coming up short in the ALCS turn into wrongs that they're able to right this year and maybe go on a longer winning path? We'll see. But that win could galvanize them, and they're going to have some serious momentum coming into this game. And Marco Estrada, who gets the ball for the Blue Jays here against this Texas team, his track record against Texas, not bad. 3-2 in 5 starts against the Texas Rangers in his career. Pitched fairly well in 2 games against them earlier this season. Last year in the playoffs, right here in Texas, in Arlington, last year, 1 run on 5 hits and 6.1 innings for Marco Estrada against this Rangers lineup. He's a capable guy. If he can keep the ball down, keep the ball in the park, he's going to give the chance for the Jays to win in this game. The problem with the Jays, though, again, is, their lineup can go toe-to-toe with Texas. I think Toronto does have a deeper starting rotation than Texas, but Texas has the better bullpen. I don't think you can deny that. And Toronto's bullpen could be down a couple of pieces here. Benoit already, we talked about calf muscle injured in that melee with the Yankees. He's out indefinitely, Joaquin Benoit. And now the closer, Roberto Osuna, no sure thing to be involved in this game one against the Rangers. He's dealing with that right shoulder issue that he had. That's why he came out of the wild card game against Baltimore. You're worried if he can't go, that puts even more strain on, Joe Biagini, Jason Grilli, Brett Cecil, and all the other Blue Jays relievers. Not having Osuna, and it's not a sure thing yet that he'll be available for this game, could very much be a detriment to this Blue Jays bullpen, which as it is, isn't quite as deep as Texas. So, tough game for me. I'm not betting against Hamels here at home. I actually think there's value in the price with Toronto at plus 130 in this game. And with the momentum of winning that wild card game, Texas obviously has been off since Sunday, so you just worry a little rust factor here with the extra days of waiting around for this series to begin. And sometimes we've seen the wildcard team carry momentum into game one of the DS and get a victory. So I lean to Toronto, but enough concerns about their bullpen that's going to keep me off betting them. Boston and Cleveland, the second game on Thursday, their game one of their American League Division Series. We've got Rick Porcello versus Trevor Bauer. And Boston, I was hoping for a better price with Boston. They're the side I'd look at in this game, around minus 140. The current price with the Red Sox in this game. It is a mismatch, I think, a little bit from a starting pitching perspective. Let's give Trevor Bauer credit. He's very competitive, very tough. He battles, gives it his all, but he's not a guy I trust to mow down this Boston lineup. That's all there is to it. Trevor Bauer was not exactly sharp down the stretch of the season. Got roughed up in the month of September. Had a stretch where he gave up 5 runs or more in 3 straight starts against Houston, the White Sox, and Detroit. Pitched a little bit better in his last 2 outings, but still, it's a guy that really got plagued by the home run ball. Trevor Bauer doesn't have great numbers against Boston in his career. He's faced them twice, faced them earlier this year at Fenway, gave up 4 runs on 8 hits in 5 innings. Cleveland loses that game 9-1. Last year he played Boston, gave up 5 runs in just 1.2 innings. Again, Cleveland loses that game 9-1. I just worry if he's going to be able to navigate his way, not necessarily the first time, but the second, third time through a Boston lineup that's got so many good hitters up and down their lineup. Dustin Pedroia, Big Papi, David Ortiz, Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts. I mean, there's a lot of good hitters on this Boston team that they can throw at you. Just a concern that Trevor Bauer, and let's not forget, this is going to be his first ever postseason start, never been in a pressure cooker like this, could be an issue for him. Rick Porcello, on the other hand, a career year for him. He's been absolutely marvelous. Rick Porcello. How about a 3.15 ERA? Boston is 25-8 in 33 starts in which Rick Porcello has taken the mound this season. Fantastic numbers. 3.31 ERA on the road for him against Cleveland. He faced them back in May, in Boston. 2 runs allowed in 5.2 innings. Boston wins that game by a score of 5-2. So definitely Rick Porcello, a guy that doesn't have a lot of postseason experience himself. But that being said, he's had a marvelous year. I think he's better than Trevor Bauer. I think Cleveland's got a good bullpen. I actually think Cleveland's bullpen is one I would trust, more than Boston's. So, especially with Andrew Miller now in that Cleveland bullpen to make them a lot better. But obviously there's some major concerns here with this Cleveland rotation in this series. I mean, you have a Danny Salazar and a Carlos Carrasco both on the DL, not able to pitch in this series. That could really, really be the difference and deplete this Cleveland pitching staff, which was really good for most of the season. And I thought they needed all hands on deck, including a healthy Salazar and Carrasco, to be able to maybe win this series. I think they're going to be up against it. They're going to be asking an awful lot now of Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer, the game one starter, in order to win this series. They're going to have to really get good outings from these two guys if they're going to have success in this series. Josh Tomlin is a guy I don't necessarily trust if he is thrown into that rotation later on in the series. So it's going to be an uphill battle for Cleveland. I don't count them out because Francona's a World Series winning manager. He's got the experience. I'm sure as hell know that he's going to want to beat his former team, the Boston Red Sox. And this Cleveland team is scrappy. They don't quit. They'll battle you for 9 innings. I am not counting out Cleveland completely in this series, but I still think they're going to have an uphill battle starting right here in Game 1. I think if you had to make one bet here on Thursday, this is the game where I'd look to bet it. I'm going to recommend Boston here, minus 140. It's going to be a small bet for me because it's priced right. I don't think you're getting any bargains here with Porcello and the Red Sox. Minus 140 on the road in a playoff game. Very, very tricky at times to get involved with a price that high against a quality Cleveland team, but I still think they have the edge. Would lean to the Red Sox minus 140. Wouldn't even hurt you, actually, to take a look at Boston in the first 5 innings as well, just because I have had some concerns about Craig Kimbrell, the closer, who didn't exactly pitch well late in the season. And Koji Uehara coming back from the DL, we'll see how good he is. So, just in case Boston has some hairy, gets into a little bit of some trouble with their bullpen, maybe some first 5 inning insurance on Boston wouldn't be the worst thing to do. So we'll lean to the Red Sox minus 140, both first 5 innings and the full game against the Cleveland Indians in Game 1 of the ALDS on Thursday. All right, that's my look at the 2 games on Thursday in the American League Division Series, Game 1 of both the Toronto, Texas and Boston Cleveland series. I'll be back with my look at the Game 1s of the National League Division Series later this week, as well as Game 2 of the ALDS. We've got 4 games on Friday, and I'll break them all down in my next MLB video. So until then, I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, and until next time, enjoy the games and good luck.
So we're giving you picks every day, and you're probably making your own as well. Be sure to participate in SBR's weekly Twitter Bankroll Challenge. Just post your picks on Twitter with @SBRSportsPicks and the hashtag BetSBR before 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We'll be betting your picks, and if the bankroll is positive at the end of the week, you could win the profits. Picks must be of events taking place that day and available in at least one of the major sportsbooks shown in our Best Sportsbooks page.